Okay, good evening, everybody. Well, this is now at last time to start. The more acute members of the audience will have figured out that I'm not Mary Beth Fisher. She's ailing this evening, and so I'm standing in. But I'm happy to do that. Sorry Mary Beth isn't here. I've used this metaphor before. The gill's kind of like a chicken pot pie. Most of us are carrots and peas and lumps of flour. Mary Beth is the chicken. Difficult to do the thing without her. Nonetheless, I just want to say, for those of you who aren't the regulars, the Guild sponsors 4 free writes every week and monthly readings. This week, for various reasons, we have an event every day of the week but Sunday. Tomorrow night, a free write. Thursday, a free write at the Art League. Friday, I think Frank is having a free write at the Giant in Ocean View. If you want to pick up a few heads of lettuce and exercise your talent. And Saturday, there's a free write at the library. So there we are. We are a non-profit organization supported mainly by your donations, by dues, and with any kind of luck, a little bit from the Delaware Division of the Arts. In our press release for tonight, we suggested that if you were wondering how much to put in this orange bucket, $5 would be a good thing. But if you don't do that, any amount you do put in would be accepted gratefully. It'll be over there by the door, and Frank Minnie with Sicilian connections will be watching. Okay, so tonight we have 3 singers and about 15 readers, 2 of whom are recent. But we're going to start out, if I were John Stewart, I'd be saying we have Sharon Hoover, our senior wedding correspondent. Leading off. Well, Sharon's coming up here. Let me just remind you, when you read, you need to put the microphone up by your mouth. You can hold it in your hand, you can put it in the stand, but be sure that it's close to your mouth.
Greg, get it signed.
I wanted very much to write why I do not believe in weddings, but I failed. Therefore, you must tolerate, once again, one of my personal experiences. Images from the last wedding I will ever host. A breeze sends Philip's blue tent swirling merrily onto the pond. Non-stop from Detroit, the airline mislaid the icing, searching for buckets of chef's cake icing. Ethiopian females sit around the bridal dressing room. Dean's in my suite. Little boys commandeer the west loft, giggly girls the east. I dress in the pantry. Nieces hang swaths of white tulle between the poles on Dean's circular pavilion. Shining wildflowers are set everywhere. 7-year-old Miguel stands unexpectedly to say clearly at the close of the Quaker ceremony, "Letitia, we welcome your family to our family." The bride's family has transported frozen homemade what? Spicy vegetable and meat dishes and sauces from Ethiopia by air, thanks to diplomatic immunity. Fresh injera, those are large gray flat breads of fermented teff flour. Complimented. My sister-in-law takes a bite of salad to cool her mouth and bites into a jalapeno pepper. Water and wine flow freely. Ethiopian wedding songs. Women shake their shoulders and trill. The African-American group shake their hips. The locals finally shake their feet. The mercury dips. The Hoovers throw tweed jackets, ski jackets, shawls, small blankets, barn sweatshirts over underdressed city folk. Europeans aghast as the DJ slows the music. Multicolored, large and small people from 4 continents and 10 U.S. states dance enthusiastically for the next 2 hours in Clipknockie, New York. Ask the DJ what we owe. That's the most fun I ever had. You got any more of that wine? A tall, well-dressed woman carries a screen door along as she walks through it. An extra couple at the Glen Iris Inn, where the parents stay. Dean and I drive dark roads home and crash on a couch. Strange adults and children are sleeping in our bed as I sneak out some clothes. Consternation when I discover later that I am wearing unfamiliar underpants. Breaking down a large tent and tables, counting chairs, boxing dishes, glasses, silver, etc., 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 for 150 people. Scrubbing stains out of sturdy, brightly embroidered, white Ethiopian tablecloths for an entire week.
You know, Joanne has always called me a white bread kind of guy. I'm glad you worded my wedding. You're just upside. You may notice a gentleman playing darts here. It turns out there may be a dart match if the other team turns up. As it turns out, darts don't make a lot of explosive noise. So, okay, we've already had one senior wedding correspondent, but our third up is Harry Koss, who certainly has some seniority in the institution.
It pays to be nice. If life with my wife was any better, I'd be worried about it. In no small part, it is because of 2 women. In 1949, on August 25th, I had a life-changing event that only cost $10. I married a very small, smart, slender and cute blonde with hazel eyes, named Mary Lucille Wheeler, who stood 5'1.5" tall. Unaware of how much to pay the judge, I only had a 20, so I asked for $10 in change. We met in March to the sound of organ music. I saw her struggling to ice skate. I was drawn to her. When I approached, she smiled. We soon stopped for coffee and to talk. We talked for 48 years, the rest of her life. We fell in love. I became we. Dorothy Lee Parker said, "Love is blind, but marriage is an eye-opener." Mary was 24. Her eyes opened. She had married a naive, aimless 21-year-old, an only child, reared from age 4 to 9 by a loving grandmother whose advice was simply, be nice. Later dropped out of school after going to 7 different ones. Served 3 years in the Navy. I was at least unemployed with no marketable skills. Married, an only child, of parents who married late in life. As her dear father said, was an angel. My life began with an angel. Moved by my grandmother's advice, be nice, I knew I had much to learn. With Mary's wisdom and inspiration, we put together a home, a close family with 3 daughters. She gracefully endured while I became a husband and father, able to live in the world to which she opened doors and that I never knew existed. We became one, with a life greater than I could have ever imagined. However, she never got over my asking the judge for change.
That's the kind of change most of us want. Something back.